Hello, my name is Ashley Baker. I'm a graduate student studying costume design at the University of Oregon, and today I'm going to be talking about how to get a wig onto a wig head. So what you'll need for this is your wig head. So for my students, we're using our styrofoam wig heads with the head bubbles on them. If you have a canvas wig head, I recommend using that. Your wig stand, your wig that you're going to be using, brushes and combs, if you need it. Your pins, these can be the big pins that I gave you. If you have the smaller ball end pins that you use for sewing, those actually work really well on lace fronts if you have a lace front wig, or T-pins if you have those. And then if you have a lace front wig, you'll want your twill tape and your spray bottle. So I'm going to start off with the hard front wig today. So hard fronts are ones that don't have the lace in the front, it's just a hard edge here. So that's what I'm going to put on first. So what you'll need to do is set up your station. So you're going to be taking your wig stand and finding a table that you can set it up on and turning the little crank here at the bottom until this is tight to the table. So it's kind of weird when you're doing it because you have to turn it to the left instead of the right because everything is upside down unless you're looking at it straight on. So now I have mine on here, straight on. Then you'll also want to check that the stand at the top here is secure enough to how you like it. I like mine fairly tight with just a tiny bit of give. So I'm going to let this loosen up just a little bit because I had it really tight on here. There we go. Get that back on. And then you're going to take your wig head, you're going to stick it right on top. That's all it needs to do. And then you can start taking your wig at the hard front and getting it on there. So you want to check on the inside that you're grabbing this, and then also if it has these little tabs here at the bottom, you want to check that these little clips are harnessed into one of the little pieces of tape there. If they're not, they're going to get in the way and they're probably going to pop out on you while you are trying to style this wig. So if you already have an idea of where those want to sit when you're wearing that on your head, just preset it. If you don't and you have the time, you can put the wig on really quickly and check it. If you don't have the time, just pick something that's one of the bigger sizes and work from there. These guys like to come out all the time. I really hate them. And I don't see their purpose. I get why they have them in wigs, I just don't like them. Okay. Then from there, you start off with the front. And you push it towards the back. And the important thing that you're going to want to figure out here is how it's sitting in the front. You don't want it to sit too far forward that it's going way over their forehead. That's not going to get you the look you want, and everything is not going to sit in the right position once it's styled and it's on your head because it was pushed too far forward on the wig head. So I'm checking it and I'm making sure that I'm pushing it a bit more towards the back. If it's too far back, you're going to see your hairline and you're going to see the wig cap and everything, and it's going to be a mess. So you want to check those. And then you're also going to want to check and make sure that the sides here are even with each other. So I'm going to do that. I have to turn it to see it. Make sure that I get this right. There we go. And once you have it in the position that you want it in, you're going to want to take one big pin and stick it right in the very top of your wig to hold it down. And then from here, I want to shift this back just a little bit more. That's better. From here, you just need to put 3 pins in the front, which is really great. Super easy. So then you're just going to take one pin, Stick it in here in the center front, just a little bit behind the very raw edge there. You want to check and make sure that you're not putting it in a space where it's going to get in the way of your wig either. And you're going to want to go down to each side here. Give it a little bit of a tug. Get the pin going through there. And you want to start going away like you did with those pins in setting up your wig cap. Away first, and then up and in. What you're doing there is you're creating tension that's going to hold that pin in place. If you just stick it straight in and you start brushing really hard, it's going to turn into a nightmare and the pin is likely going to fall out. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, going down and back up. And I'm going to change the song. Okay. So now you have your front done. You want to give your hair just a little bit of a comb to clean it up. It's totally fine. This hair has really long bangs. And I'm just going to clean it up a tiny bit. There you go. And then I'm going to go to the back here. You have your two corners in the back. You can see I've got one in my hand here. You're going to grab them and you're going to start pulling downward to create that tension in the back. And you're going to hold that one down. You're going to do the same thing again, where you take the pin, pull this up a little bit, and go down and then back up, in. And then when you do the other side, you want to be sure that you are getting it down to the same position that the other one is at so that the back is even. If you don't do this, then you're going to have an uneven style when you get the wig off the head, and it's not going to look good. One side might be more tense, the other side might be too loose, and it's going to look very, very strange. So now that that is all done, I can take this out of the top of the head, and my wig is successfully on the head. So I can be rough with it. It's not going to move. I don't recommend being too rough with it. Wigs are fragile, gentle things, but that's how you do it. So the lace front is slightly different and slightly more delicate. So I'm going to take this wig off and show you how to do that. And whenever you take off the wig, you always want to start from the back and work your way up to the front. And there we go. The wig is successfully off. So now you have a lace front wig. And the lace front is much more fragile because you have the ventilating lace. So it's the same idea when you stick it on in the front here. I'm going to start at the front, work your way towards the back. And this guy wants to fall back because it has significantly more hair. Also has a side part that I kind of have to pay attention to. So I'm going to sit down with this wig again and take a look at where these sides want to sit. You just have to keep maneuvering it until you find a good place for it. Okay, I think I like that. I'm going to change the music again. Okay. So now I have the wig on the head here. It's centered the way I want it to. The sides are sitting where they're supposed to. This is a really small wig head, even with my head bubble on it, so I'm gonna have to be really careful when I do this. And I can't get the twill tape on here, but it's possible. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my twill tape, I'm gonna take the spray bottle here, I'm just gonna give it a couple sprays. Get that a little damp. I think I want it a little bit more. Okay. You don't want it to be soaking, because that doesn't really help anything. Getting it a little damp gives it a bit of more stretch in it, which is what you want. And then from here, you're gonna start at the center of your hair. And go just a little bit out, away from the hairline. Make sure that the lace is sitting flat to the head. You're gonna take your first pin and you're gonna stick it in through the tape. I like going around in the center. I think it holds it really well. And then from there, you're gonna start working your way out, holding the lace down, making sure it doesn't fold in on itself. Going about every 3/4 of an inch or so, all the way down. Go. And I like to maneuver back and forth just to make sure that I'm evenly distributing the tension onto this wig. Too much on one side and it can be bad. There we go. And you want to be sure when you're doing this that, wow, my music is like picking some interesting choices today. This is very low budget, by the way. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. I'm going to continue going down bit by bit. The nice thing about this too, doing it on my head bubble, is I can see where this is going to land in comparison to my own hair, which I think is pretty interesting to look at. I actually don't like where that one's sitting. So I didn't like the tension there a little bit. I didn't think it was quite right. So I readjusted it a little bit. Go back in again. There we go. I'm gonna go back to this side. Keep going down here. And keeping tabs on the tension. You just want to be sure, what I mean by tension is that this wants to sit nice and flat to your head. If it gets bubbly and then you start brushing it and you put a little bit too much pressure in with the brush, you may actually end up ripping the wig lace, which is not what you want to do. Okay, so I'm at the end on this side of where the lace is. So what I want to do next is take this and twist it towards the back so I can get the tension on the last bit of lace here. There we go. And I like to kind of give the twill tape a little twist too. So I'll do one pin towards the very back there. Not so much that if it gets pulled it'll tear the lace, but with a little bit of space. So I'll do that. I'll do one more going up. I'm getting close to the hairline, but not quite on it. And then I'll take it and pin it to the center front here. So I'm gonna do one more pin on this side. You also want to be sure when you're doing this that you don't get any hair on the underside of the wig lace or any place where you can't really reach it, because it's really difficult to get out once this is all pinned down. Okay. Got a little bit of hair in there. One more pin. Now I can add this to the front here. And ta-da! The front is done. And then just like the back of the hard front wig, you're just gonna pull down, get that tension going in there, and pin it down. Start off going away, and then back up. I messed that one up. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Okay. I can take the top pin out, and I'm done.